Welcome to the final episode of this series, where two Haltech teams, located in two very different parts of the world, were tasked with building two project cars. Despite being bound by the same rules, the two teams ended up with two vastly different builds. Both teams managed to successfully complete their builds before the set deadline. So now it was time to put them to a test. A number of tests, actually. The first challenge was a dyno pull, so Team USA bolted the Mustang up to the hubs and it made 500 horsepower.
It wasn't exactly what we expected, all motor.
Honestly, a little disappointing.
So, we sprayed it.
And with a healthy snort of giggle gas, the Australian Nightmare laid down an impressive 1,003 horsepower on VP Q16 fuel.
Yeah, we did.
And I'm glad to say we made 1,000 horsepower.
What a monster. This thing is really pretty rowdy.
Yeah, once we made that 1,003 horsepower, I was really excited at that point.
It definitely tied it in a bow, brought it all together. I mean, that's 500 horsepower of nitrous. 500 doubled. That's twice as much horsepower with a single kit of nitrous. One kit.
Brian Tooley Racing, the shop behind the engine rebuild, was also responsible for the camshaft, speccing it precisely for use with nitrous. So, while it may purr like a kitten while running naturally aspirated, the engine roars like a monster when sprayed.
1,000 horsepower. I don't know that the Australians are gonna really have a player in this fight at this point. I mean, that's a lot of horsepower.
Not for the dyno challenge, not at all.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like they're bringing a knife to a bazooka fight.
Oh yeah.
All right. They're a bit more keen than us.
I think they got a bit carried away. We're not going to make that much power, are we?
Probably not. No, probably not. Like that's, yeah, we haven't got a built motor, so.
What did we start with? 100 horsepower about?
108 horsepower, so aim lower.
Do you reckon we could hit 300?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, triple the power seems realistic. You know what the truth is? I reckon, yeah, that seems very realistic.
Predictably, the Suburban Battler's 3-litre Turbo RB did not produce anywhere near as much power as the nitrous-fed 408 cubic inch LS. It actually made less power than the LS did without nitrous. All that aside, Team Australia were pretty chuffed with the result.
How much power that's got? It's got all that power.
What's that?
You just press the throttle and it makes 400 horsepower. So this is one of those ones that they talk about where like, this will feel like a 700 horsepower car because it's just got unlimited power as soon as you press the throttle. You know what, in 1986 this would have been a f***ing fast car.
Yeah.
And today, having that much power just all the time is crazy. Like, it comes up on we were lucky with the converter, lucky with the gearbox. The engine's
Holding
made it.
together.
Admittedly, we're still on the dyno, so you've got to be reasonable with that. But I think we need to quickly take it out, street test it, and just make sure that the tyres and make sure the suspension, remembering it had, would it have 100 kilowatts, 80 kilowatts or something?
80 kilowatts. Yeah. So, credit where credit's due. With relatively simple and inexpensive mods, the Skyline came very close to making 4 times its baseline power. And that's saying something.
Back for another adventure.
Back for another adventure. So the car is done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've got in this envelope?
I've got a fair idea, and that's why I'm here.
These are the challenges that have just been handed to me.
Let's hope they're favourable for an overpowered, understeered, under-braked Skyline.
Well, number one, both cars must record their max power on a dyno. Well, they've done that and we've done that, and they
Not great for us.
beat us on that one.
Yep.
Both cars must complete a quarter-mile pass.
Okay. Also
That's
not great. Hopefully theirs blows up on the first pass, and then that way we would win.
That would be good. Yeah. The rules for the drag racing challenge were simple. Each car had to complete a quarter-mile pass and record an ET as well as their top speed. And the pass had to be done at a legitimate raceway, not out the back of your auntie's house.
So today we're at Kentucky Dragway.
Kentucky Dragway was kind enough to lend us their facility to complete these challenges.
Vic, let's talk about these challenges. First of all, we had a dyno competition, and I know we've got that in the bag. All right, so next, we have a quarter-mile pass, but you'll have to give me a minute, because I need to get changed into my suit, and we'll see what this thing can really do.
Whoa.
All right, let's do this thing.
Looking menacing and sounding angry, the Australian Nightmare was not hanging about, recording an 8.41 at 156 mile an hour.
Was that really you that ran that 841? Really? You?
Look,
I see a time slip, but who was driving?
it was me.
Why, this is summer 2021.
La Nina. After drenching the country during summer 21,
Australia's weather gods officially declaring La Nina has hit in the Pacific Ocean.
Doesn't rain very often in Australia, but when it does, it just doesn't stop. The weather forecast was not looking great for Team Australia, so when the clouds finally parted, the team had to make it count.
So after reading the list of challenges that we're going to be doing in this car, one of them was drag racing, a quarter-mile drag race. And with the power that it's making, look, I probably could have got away with the stock tail shaft, but 35 years old, I pulled it out and had a look. The universal joints on the end, little bit funny, they were a little bit loose, and the CV in the middle of this thing felt a little bit notchy as well. So I took the tail shaft out, I've taken it down to the local tail shaft guys. They've fully recoated it. They've put a big GM CV, middle CV sort of coupling in the middle, so that's a bit bigger than what we had. It's got bigger universal joints now, so we'll put this thing back in. I'm told it's good for 600 or 700 horsepower, so I might have to turn it up a bit even more. Now, while we were on the dyno, we did identify a problem with the oiling system on the RB30 that every single person who's worked with an RB30 single cam has already identified, and that is the oil control. These things love to breathe, they love to spew oil out of the rocker cover fittings here, and they love to break oil pumps, and they love to put the oil somewhere that's not in the engine. So we had Nork from Plasma, an absolute legend, come to the party. I said, mate, I just need a simple catch can, just slap something together for me. What I want it to do, I need it to be 3 or 4 litres in capacity. I need it to have 2 -10 breathers that go into the catch can. Then I want a fitting, a -8 down the bottom that T-pieces down into the turbo oil return, so that basically when we're up it and we're giving the thing a hard time, it blows as much oil as it can blow out the top. Then it drains back into the sump by itself, so I don't need to be pouring it out all the time. From what I understand, it's supposed to expect 2.5 litres to blow out of the engine into the catch can during a quarter-mile pass, which blows my mind, but it is what it is. I asked for something nice and simple, and these guys told me that this was the cheapest and bodgiest that they could do, which is remarkable because it's an engineering masterpiece. I think it's one of the nicest parts on the car.
Adding to Team Australia's problems was a national shortage of drag tyres. With waiting times of up to 3 months, the guys were forced to use whatever they could get their hands on, which ended up being grossly oversized second-hand radials borrowed from a local race team. That over my shoulder is a big rain cloud. It is forecast to rain here later tonight, but hopefully we've got an hour or two to get a run in. We've got Mitch Smith in the car, he's going to drive it, he's got the most drag racing experience out of anyone in the office, so if anyone can do a time, he can.
Yeah, no pressure. Thanks, guys.
First full pass, Mitch ran an 11.9 seconds and immediately backed it up with an 11.000. The team was keen to get the car into the 10s, but a surprise visit from a track official quickly put an end to that plan.
That's to be fixed or you can't run again. Well, that's got a massive groove in that tyre on the last run. Just hit it a whole track again that time.
See that smoke following the Skyline all the way down the strip? That's actually a result of the rear tyre being saved by the wheel arch under load. A combination of old saggy suspension coupled with that oversized drag radial. Still, the team were pretty happy with a perfect 11-second pass, which incidentally was 6.8 seconds faster than the official quarter-mile time quoted for this car back in 1986. Both cars must complete a go to woe.
All right, well that works. That very much works. We can do that.
We've got to have better brakes.
You know what? Even that's arguable word, to be honest.
Both cars must complete a simple slalom.
Oh, I thought that's a saloon, and I was like, oh, this sounds like a saloon.
Yeah.
That is not. I understand what this is. We're going to smash them.
The go to woe track is 200 feet or 61 metres long. Each car must begin with its front wheels on the start line. The car must then accelerate and come to a complete stop with the front wheels on the finish line. Desperately needing to put some points on the board, Team Australia arrived at the skid pan full of enthusiasm and cautious optimism. All right, we're at Sydney Motorsport Park thanks to Driving Solutions. They do all sorts of driver training, right from beginner learning stuff up to full racetrack stuff. But to the task at hand, we are down 2-0. The Americans beat us in horsepower and they beat us in drag racing. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to make it count. Oh. How do we go?
Hey, 4.9, bro.
It's all right.
It's not bad.
I don't think I'm getting it faster than that.
I mean, it's the go to woe, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the America. They can probably do it like 8th mile in that time.
Can they pull it up though?
No shoots allowed, right?
Yeah, right.
I reckon we'll go all right.
I reckon
the old girl's got it.
we call it.
Let's see how we go. Like, one hit. If we're not going to win, we're not going to win, bro.
Done it.
We got what we got.
All right.
Send it.
Cheers, mate.
Next.
The distance between the first and the last slalom cone is again 200 feet or 61 metres. From a standing start, each car must weave itself around the cones in a figure of 8 shape and then come back through the start line.
Will you quit f***ing around?
So what's next?
Whoa to go.
I think you got that backwards.
Go to whoa?
Yeah, so we do it again, but then we have to stop fast.
So you got to go before you whoa.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to whoa then.
All right.
All right.
Let's do this.
What'd you think?
Well, it spun a lot. Mm-hmm. What'd it run?
6.52.
Is that good?
I think it's fantastic for a drag car.
Yeah, I mean, it did stop a lot better than I expected. It like wagged the tail just a little bit a few times, but honestly, very impressive.
Were you nervous at all?
I mean, a little on the first couple. I mean, it just, you know, trying to stop something this fast is interesting. Well, we need to reset a few things and then see how this thing turns.
Let's do it. In preparation for our next challenge, we've gone ahead and installed a DOT-approved tire over our dedicated drag tire. Now, we've decided to do this solely on safety because it was very impractical to try to do it on such a sticky tire. Andrew, it looked fantastic.
That was fun.
Oh yeah, you did a great job.
So what was the time?
14.3 seconds.
Okay, I can deal with that. I mean, the car was very unsettled. The one thing that I did notice is there's a lot of rear brake bias, okay? So like, not only is the car already sideways, as soon as I put my foot on the brake, it continues to rotate in that direction.
Right.
So that was a little challenging, but it was awfully fun.
It was just as fun out here watching you do it.
Was it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic.
With the scores tied, the final challenge was going to be the deciding one. And the last challenge the teams were asked to attempt,
Big fat burnout.
American style.
That's right.
the rules for burnouts are not very clearly defined. You pretty much just have to spin the tyres, make lots of smoke, and look cool while doing it. Bonus points will be awarded for popping the tyres.
Oh yeah, we're gonna show these Australians how it's done.
That's right. We're gonna kill these tires.
Yes, sir.
So one of the challenges that we've got to do is a burnout. And as you may know, I'm Australian, and Australians do the best burnout, so I'm confident that I can do a fantastic burnout. In fact, I reckon I could do a better burnout than anyone else here, except for maybe this guy.
There you go, buddy.
Hello, mate, how are you?
Not bad, mate. What's going on here?
Well, we were going to do a burnout in the R31 here, but you've done a burnout before.
Done a few. You want someone proper to drive?
You want to jump in and have a go?
I'll be a test pilot.
Mad.
If you're watching this and you're Australian, we don't need to explain to you just how important the burnout challenge was to us.
Where did Richard go?
It was not a mere challenge. It was a matter of national pride.
I just can't believe that we haven't got this burnout done. We've been doing everything. We've done everything to try and get this done. And we were going to do a birthday bash. That got cancelled because of the rain. We've just come back from the dragway. Phil was going to do the burnout for us. That got cancelled because of the rain. I just can't believe that the Australian team hasn't done a burnout. I feel like we've let the whole country down. We will do a burnout. We'll do one. We'll do one later. We'll do one next year after we come back for the Christmas break. I guess, I suppose you're just going to have to take a rain check.
So, with Team Australia defaulting on their burnout challenge, Team USA once again took the lead. With the challenges done and dusted, let's do a quick recap of each team's tally and see how well they complied with the build rules. The rules stipulated each project car had to be a 1986 model. The Australian R31 Skyline was actually a late 1988 model, which, although almost identical to a 1986 model, isn't technically a 1986 model. The American Mustang might have been made in 1986, but it's since been converted to a race car, losing most of its 1986ness. So again, a rolling race shell, not technically a 1986 model. Both the project builds and the challenges had to be completed before Christmas. And hey, in Australia it's Christmas tomorrow. So despite numerous setbacks, both teams managed to achieve that with very little time to spare. The budgets for each build was $19,860 US, and both teams struggled in that department, which brings us to the final tally.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Yeah. So, because these builds had to be completed in a short period of time and on a very modest budget, both teams did a bit of wheeling dealing. We called some mates, got a bit of mates rates, maybe a little bit of sponsorship here or there, and we did that so that we could stay within that budget. So for this final tally, I'm going to add up all of the retail costs of the products that we used, including all of the Haltech gear, and that's going to give you a more realistic idea of how much it actually costs to do these builds as if you were doing it yourself with your mates. Okay, back to you, voiceover Richard.
Okay, so here's the actual cost of each build, including all Haltech and other products at retail prices. We'll put a complete list of all the products in the description below. It's pretty clear both teams are guilty of overspending, but let's be honest, 99.9% of all builds cost more and take longer than you first anticipate. So let's focus instead on what both teams were able to achieve in such a short period of time. Vic and Andrew took a rolling shell and transformed it into a 1,000 horsepower 8-second drag weapon, powered by a 408 cubic inch nitrous-fed LS engine. The rolling shell came with a Powerglide auto transmission, which was refurbished and mated to a Hughes torque converter. The existing suspension was also overhauled, as was the car's cabin. The guys also added a Motion Raceworks rear wing and replaced the nose with a 1986 shaped front. If, like us, you have a soft spot for Fox body Mustangs, you can't help but love the way this car looks. It's tough, it sounds angry, it stares you right in the balls and yells freedom!
On the other side of the globe, take that flat earthers, the Australian team decided to take a completely different path with their build. Genuine barn find 4-door Skyline with 300,000 kilometres on the clock was never going to be a race car. What it did end up being is a tough weekend warrior camouflaged as a daily, a jack of all trades if you will. The venerable RB30 kept its stock block but received some smart improvements in the top end. It was then turbocharged, intercooled and rewired. The old transmission and rear end were replaced with rebuilt, beefed up items. The car also scored a brand new exhaust system and a heavy duty drive shaft. The suspension, the brakes and the interior were left very old and very factory, with the exception of the IC7 replacing the OEM instrument cluster.
I guess congratulations are in order. As you know, we couldn't do our burnout, so we forfeit that one. You guys win. You're the winners. You won the challenges. I've got to say, I'm actually really genuinely impressed with your burnout, Andrew. That was almost Aussie spec.
Yeah, I tried hard. Kind of bummed out we don't get to see you guys do your thing though.
Yeah, look, we're really gutted about it. Scott's not even here. He's gone home in disgust. He's like, no, I'm out of it. Put so much work into the car, and he's like, we didn't get to finish, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose.
I don't think that's how we want to take the win, Andrew.
We came out swinging, but we definitely wanted to make this a competition. And you guys it's something you guys can't even avoid.
You know, we can't fit a burnout in before tomorrow. Tomorrow's Christmas, so.
What do you think about a poll?
A poll?
Yeah, like we do the hero challenge. Why don't we do the build-off challenge poll and let the public decide?
Really? You guys be okay with that?
Absolutely.
Oh yes. Yeah. We want a challenge. We don't want to take a win like that.
For sure. I mean, could we start this thing like right now?
Right now.
On the Facebook, right now.
Facebook,
yes, right now.
Okay,
absolutely.
Let's go.
So, who did it better? In the end, it's up to you to decide. Get on over to the Haltech Facebook page and vote for your favourite build. Also, why not leave us a comment on this video? We'd love to hear your thoughts on both cars.